Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Bruce, CMO at Agent Moves, and welcome to our Good to Great series. We're all about sharing great stories of how amazing top realtors got there, and we're hoping to make more realtors great. So let's jump in with our guest today. I'd like you to meet Ania, and I am not going to attempt her last name. I'm going to let her do it because it's beautiful coming out of her mouth, and I really messed it up pretty badly. So please, Ania, give us your full name.
Hey, my name is Ania Sierdzinska.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah, so spoke with Anya a little bit just before we got started. And if you've watched some of these series, you know I like to talk about how agents got here outside of real estate. So, interesting quick story on Anya, came to the US having her master's degree. And of course, it's not transferable. And, she got involved like many other people that come to the US, cleaning houses, doing what she had to do to make it, and then got involved in real estate. So, really looking forward to hearing this story, Anya. Tell us a little bit about first the early days, and then we'll talk about real estate.
Yes, so I've been in the United States since 2001. As you mentioned, I came as a 25-year-old young woman with no money, no English, no family, and my degree meant nothing here. So I had to clean houses. And about 13 years after I cleaned, I decided to do a real estate. I was always in love with all the houses I cleaned. I dreamed about not only be a homeowner one day, but I also dream about being able to sell those beautiful homes. And I did not believe I can, but I've done it. I passed my real estate exam in the first try and became Rookie of the Year that first year. So wasn't easy, but I made it.
Amazing. I mean, I've interviewed many agents, and everyone has their story and how they got here. But coming from another country, doing what you had to do, no money, nothing. It's an amazing story, and the bridge into you getting excited about real estate is fascinating. From wouldn't have thought from cleaning homes
Yeah.
into owning homes and selling homes. It's just a fantastic story.
All I had was a dream. I never took English in class. I couldn't afford the school. So I learned English from TV and radio and speaking with people. So my English is still broken. My accent is very, very heavy, even though I did try to attend classes for accent reduction, but I quit after a few times. So it was a challenge to come from cleaning toilets to selling real estate. It was a big challenge to overcome.
Yeah, yeah, just fantastic. So tell us about that first year, Rookie of the Year. You get your license, right? You have to be incredibly excited, and now you get going. Tell us how that first year went.
Pure luck, I guess, and maybe also the fact that I was so naive and I really didn't understand real estate enough. I just jumped into every opportunity. Funny story, a friend of mine, she was dating a man and she begged me to sell this guy's house. She hated that house. So I met with him and he told me, this is the address, this is the key, I want 150,000. And I say, sure. I never been in a house. I got the key. That was I had my license maybe 5 days, so my first week, and I was so excited. I go to see the house, and I almost died because it was a very, very dangerous part of Metro Atlanta. The house, I was like terrified to leave the car. The house was in terrible condition. I hired a appraiser. He told me the house is worth 50,000, not 150,000. He told me that he's not gonna take a penny less than 150,000. Where I put on the market for 150. Agents called me names, fleas in the house, just terrible. And well, I sold it for 150,000 to a young buyer who was not a representative at the time. But I sold him my vision of the location. I knew that location is going to be up and coming pretty soon. The IKEA was coming in there, and I sold him the vision. And so he bought the house for 150,000. That client of mine, he told me he never believed I can do it. And the reason he gave me that house because no other agents wanted to take it. So I took it, I sold it for 150, and he is up to these days my most loyal client ever. So just stories like that. So I had the 3 listings in the first week of my license, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I made it.
Just fantastic. So Rookie of the Year, what did you do year one? How many units did you sell? Remember?
Jesus, I did at that time I think I did 14, which for someone who again have
Yeah,
no
first year.
understanding about real estate much, and who barely speak English, it was amazing. I also did a lot of rentals. I had idea that I will focus on less popular location in the country I lived in. And I will focus on rentals and stay in touch with tenants for a year. So a year later, they're gonna be my clients, hopefully.
Mhm.
And I did so many rentals that first year, and so that helped also because some of them did have a buyers to refer to me in that
Mhm.
first year, and I was just very active on the subdivision I lived. Many of my neighbors actually supported me. They knew me as, of course, as a neighbor, not necessarily as a cleaner, but that basically was my startup,
Wow.
rentals, neighbors, and some pure luck of people who couldn't find other agents.
Right. Okay, so then you get into, a rhythm, right? You get into year 2, year 3. Tell us some of the things that, as this is now growing and you're seeing, I have a real business here, right? This is something, a great first year.
Yes. So one thing I knew I'm gonna be doing, I knew that I don't want to be just the agent who is gonna put the sign in the yard and dream or wait, right? And I also had a really bad experience with my own agents when I was looking for homes. No one was helping me. They put limits on how many houses they're gonna show me. Like they didn't offer the guidelines. I was just a number for them. And so I knew that I don't want to be that agent. And also I knew that if I'm gonna put a sign with my name on it, I want this to be almost like a brand building. So I'm not gonna put a house on the market until the house is ready. I offer staging. Up to these days, I actually pay for staging. I stage every house.
Yeah.
Some houses are occupied, so I just, tell people how to prepare declutter, but then I go in and I make it cute and pretty and put some color, and I know what buyers like. I know what
Mhm.
looks good on the pictures. And if house is vacant, I also have inventory, so I can stage vacant house. And if I have a few houses at the same time, I have a resources of great stagers. I pay for it as well. But that's one of the things what set me apart with many agents. The more experienced one, they would not pay for staging.
Yeah.
And so I did, yes, I had to spend the money up front, but I was selling houses very fast.
Yeah.
And so that helped me. And so that's I would say the staging was huge in getting a quality sellers, making the sales fast, and getting referrals from happy sellers.
Yeah. No, very good. Yeah, I typically hear staging like consulting is free, but doing the staging itself, on your nickel to get them ready, I love that.
I do, and yes, I some agents don't agree with that, but I've been doing that, and I know, that's like my value proposition, right?
Yeah.
I will stage your house, whatever it's need to be done. There are some houses with really they're so beautiful that it doesn't need my help, right? But there are some when we need to move some stuff, we need to bring some stuff, whatever's needed, I am there. And if I cannot do personally, I have resources to help
Mhm.
me with that. So
Yeah.
the house have to be ready for the market if I'm gonna put my sign in front.
Yeah. Good. Good. That as well. Again, great. Another nugget of information that you do. Don't just get the house, stick the sign. You want for your branding that curb appeal, whatever you're going to recommend, to do to the front lawn or the front door or whatever it might be, outdoor lighting. The importance of that, and
Yes.
don't want your brand kind of tarnished by a house that doesn't look right.
Correct. And I hear from my clients often that the reason they choose me, even though I may not be the top, is because I bring the solution. I'm not just going there and say, call me when you're ready.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be like, okay, when can I come? Let's pack the closet. Let's do this. I will bring boxes or I can bring wine, whatever's needed. Like I am gonna be there to help them because most of my clients, they have busy life. They have busy life and they not necessarily have the resources and time to get the house ready for the market. So I offer the solution from the moment I come for the listing appointment. to the moment we close, and after that too. So,
Mhm.
because my clients are with stick with me for life. I mean, we're still in touch.
That's good. That's excellent. Excellent. So, any niches like that you're involved with, like, groups or that has, also helped you build the success?
Yes. So my first, when I got to real estate, I lived in a subdivision when everyone was kind of my age. We were just getting married. We were just having kids. So I kind of start with, I guess, families,
Mhm.
and it continue. I would say my niche are families with kids. I am very good in school knowledge, and if someone reach out to me and say, hey, I'm looking this and this specific schools, I know exactly which schools those are, which communities. So like I guess that's what I can define as a niche. Mostly families with kids are looking for communities when they can be, their kids can be active, when there's swim and tennis on the communities. I would say 75% of all my clients are young families.
Okay. Okay. So, how else are you meeting them? Are you involved in events in the community?
I'm not anymore. I used to be a farm. I do have 3 communities I've been farming. And I also am a social chairwoman in my community. I live now for 15 years.
Okay.
And that has been one of the best thing I have done. Because being on HOA, sometimes it's not fun, but being on a social committee is fantastic, right?
Mhm.
I organize the events. I make sure that I bring neighbors as a community, so
Mhm.
everyone knows me, and I don't need to talk about real estate. I just build connections with neighbors through that, and I also implement my farming on the same community as well. So I monopolize my subdivision for quite a few years now.
It's great. I mean, I love the approach, strategic, in what you've done and, looking at being involved in the community and taking on the social aspect, which makes the most sense, right?
Who doesn't like, throwing a parties, especially for someone else's money, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's great. So I do farming and I do pop buys. I do pop buys for my sphere, which is about 240 people. I touch them every month, sometimes more than once. And those are little tokens of values I either deliver or I mail to clients just to stay in touch, just to let them know how I appreciate their business. And
Yeah.
even my first clients from 2013, they still hear from me.
Right,
So
right. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so now here we are, into the new year. What are you looking to do to scale?
this year, I really do not want to reinvent the wheel. I realize I just need to go back to basis. Like database and the people in my life is all I need. I have all the resources to continue what I was doing. Just focus on treating people well, working hard, be honest, making sure that, I will not get lazy like we all did during COVID, right? That was kind of, I guess, easy and hard at some point, but we didn't put that much effort.
Mhm.
So back to basis, back to what we know.
Excellent. Great. So if you were to give us a tip that you've learned on what not to do, something that did not work for you.
What not to do. What never worked for me was if I try to listen to the real estate gurus and sign up for all the golden objects. Everything I used to believe that whatever I read or heard from all the real estate gurus work magically, and I spend a lot of money, and it did not. Real estate is a relationship business. That's where the focus should be. And also, what doesn't work for me, my personality is setting, I guess, limitations. If I work with buyers on, okay, I'm only gonna show you 3 houses or 4 houses, and that's and I agree. I understand that some agents that they structure that way not to waste their time. It never worked on me that way. Every time I try that structure, I lose clients. So I need to go back again to, of course, I don't want to chase and show 100 houses, right? But I remember why I became a realtor. And one of the reason was because I had an agent who told me he's not my showing boy because I asked him to show me more than 3 houses. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So that's for sure not like, yeah, I would not suggest that.
Yeah, great piece of advice, especially you having, been exposed to that strategy. It didn't work for you, to not bring that into your business, I think is, makes great sense. And yeah, this is the, biggest purchase of someone's life, pretty much.
Correct.
Right. And to say, I'll show you 3 homes, it does not sound like a reasonable way to create a relationship.
No, it was really stressful at the time. I did fire that agent when he told me he's not my showing boy, because I replied to him, I want showing boy. So, but I'm thankful for him, because now I do what I do and what I love. So, but yeah, that did not work on me.
Yeah. Well, this is like an amazing story. I mean, I love hearing I hear a lot of stories of, people beginnings, are very tough, but it's not imaginable, for a lot of us to come to a new country, to not know the language, to go through what you went through is not something I think people, you can hear it, but I don't know how much you can really relate to what you've been through, and the success you had is just absolutely incredible and should be so proud. I'm sure your family and kids and everyone is. And it's great hearing this. And again, the nugget I think I'd ask you about the most successful thing you do, but we know it's staging, right? You're making that like your value prop. And I think that's a great takeaway for people that are watching this video to consider. You can look at the ROI on staging, and I'm sure you did, to look at, if I have to put out X amount for staging, I know I'm going to get back Y.
Yes. That really is what sets me apart at the beginning. I know that more agents, I guess, is trying to do staging as well, and there are also stagers partnering with us. But it's very, very important in how the house looks when the buyer comes in, and
Yeah,
so.
yeah, absolutely. Well, Ania, thank you so much for participating today. I really appreciate it. I think there was some great stuff here and great value, and that's what we're trying to do, is share your wisdom with other agents and not make the same mistakes, and look at what's making you successful and take a piece of that and make it their own. So thank
That's
you
right.
so
Thank
much
you
for
so
today.
much. Sure. Thank you.